You know what's been one of the biggest driving forces in my life, even up until just a few years ago even? It's been fear. And this was something that I used to deal with on a regular basis. And in fact, it controlled my life in a way that I think held me back a ton when I was younger. And I remember when I was in high school, I was still living in California at the time. It was before I moved to Montana, and I was at a high school rodeo, and it was a 2-day event. And on the first day, I rode a bull really well, placed high in the round, even won a little bit of money. And then the next day that I came back for the finals, or the short go they call it, I had drew a bull that I knew to be very dangerous, one that was always looking to hurt somebody after the ride was over. And because I didn't focus on the prior day's success of winning money and doing really well, I was focusing on the negative of what if I get hurt? What if I don't finish the ride? What if, all these bad things happen? And I did something that I'm not necessarily proud of. Because I had let fear take over that day, I made up some bogus excuse as to why I couldn't compete, and instead of riding that bull like I should have, I went home instead. Pretty shitty, huh? And for a long time after that, I kicked myself because of it. And I think that fear is probably one of the biggest things that stops people from living their life on their terms, because for a lot of us, it's overwhelming, if not paralyzing, right? And one of the biggest things that really helped me to overcome my fear of failure specifically, was to acknowledge the fear, to recognize that fear as the situation presented itself, because I think that having a little bit of self-awareness goes a long way. If you can do that, I think that you'll find that the fear doesn't hang around as long, and you'll find that the situation becomes much more manageable. And that reminds me too, I was reading a book recently, and the author asked a really powerful set of questions. He said, imagine if you couldn't fail. Who would you be? What would you do? And where would you go? It was powerful. And so I'm just asking you, if you feel like your life is being held back by fear of anything, doesn't matter what it is, I want you to ask yourself those questions. And I want you to really put some thought and emotion into those questions, because they're powerful, and I think that they can be a great starting point for you. And if this video was of value to you at all, I just ask that you share the post out there, because I think there's a lot of people that lives are being held back because of fears that they've been holding on to for way too long now.